This is a third video demonstrating the ad creation using the alternative to Photograph, a program called Gimp, which is a free program. I will be going over how I created each of the three ads, this one, and this one. And in each of these ads, I will be going over one technique that I used in order to create it. So I started with a royalty-free picture of a dog and a cat with Santa hats on. I'll also be using another picture that I purchased of two heart ornaments. This is a paranormal romance story, or series, I should say. And I also have a picture of a raven. This I purchased a long time ago. The raven and the crows are motifs that run through the story. So I'm going to be using that also in the ad. And then the other thing that I will be using is a panel of all of the books side by side, and they are against a transparent background. So those are the elements or the components that I'll be using in all of the ads. So let's start with the first ad. This is the first ad that we're going to go through. So let me hide all of the layers. I started with the transparent background. Now I already knew which picture I was going to use for the background, but I always start with a transparent background because if you begin to change the background of the design and it's a disaster or you change your mind in the process, you can always just delete that layer and you still have a background and you have a place where you can just start over. So that's why I do it that way. So this background just came from one royalty-free picture that I purchased from Deposit Photos. So then the next layer is the raven. So this is the technique that we're going to go over in this ad. So this began its life as a royalty-free picture that I had purchased from Deposit Photos a long time ago. And so what we need to do here is to flip the picture so that the raven is looking to the right instead of the left. And then I also need to remove the white background. So I'm going to flip it first. So making sure that I'm on the right layer, I'm going to right click and choose Layer, Transform, and then flip horizontally. So now the raven is looking in the right direction. Now I'm going to remove the background. So I'm going to select the tool, select by color tool, click on the white, and then hit the delete. Now this deleted back to my background color, and that is because I didn't have a alpha channel. So I'm going to right click on the layer and add alpha channel. And then I'm going to click on delete again, and that will go to the transparent background. Now I'm going to click select none to remove the selection. And as you can see here, I'll go in closer, there are just a few spots where the select by color tool didn't really work that well. So there's a little bit of cleanup needed in this picture. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do now. The first thing you need to do is to zoom in very closely. You can either use this tool down here, or if you're using a mouse, you can click on Control and then just roll the mouse in and out to be able to get close to the area that you need to erase. Then I'm going to click on the Erase tool. Okay, make sure that I have a hardness of, I chose 86, and I have a brush that's only about 10. So I'm going to come in here and just erase very carefully all of the white that should have been erased originally. It's not a problem. Nothing is a problem, but everything takes a little bit of time. Now, I'm not going to bore you by showing you how to erase every single little bit of white, but this is what you will have to do whenever this happens. Whenever the tool itself doesn't erase everything, you just use the erase tool and go in quickly. So once the crow or the raven was on a transparent background, then I put it into the ad. Next, what I did was I took my book panel that we went over in previous videos and I selected out two of them using the rectangle select tool, copied it, and came back and pasted it in place here. And then the next one, I put the title of the series up on top. And now on the bottom, I put Merry Christmas. Now, very often, if I'm making a design for a holiday, if the design itself just has a holiday color, you can use it at other times and get away with it. But this one is too Christmassy, so I just put Merry Christmas in the ad because I'm not going to be able to use it outside of the Christmas season. And then the last component was the other two books that I went back and copied and pasted in place. And that is how I created this ad here. So let's go to the next ad. This is the second ad. And in this ad, I'm going to go over how to put a frame on the verbiage to make it stand out a little bit more. But before I do that, and before I even start this ad, the next two ads started their life as this royalty-free picture that I purchased. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how I isolated the pug and the cat away from first the background and then this chair that they're leaning on, or maybe it's a pillow. Anyway, let's get started with that. So I have made the completed picture hidden, and we're going to start again. I'm going to show you how I did this. So let's see, I'm going to make a copy of the picture. Now, I learned this technique of making a copy of the picture a long time ago when I was new at Gimp from watching other people's videos. And what they explained is that by making a copy, once you start working on the picture that you're working on, if it messes up or you just decide you don't like it, it's not working, you can just delete it and then go back to the original and make another copy, and it makes everything very easy. So anyway, the first thing we need to do with this is to remove the background. So by using the select by color tool and clicking on the white, I'm sure you can see that it not only selected the background, but it selected large areas inside the Santa hat and also the cushion. So that is not going to work. So the next tool that I'm going to use is the fuzzy select tool. So let me go up here and click on none to unselect everything, and then start again with the fuzzy select tool. And the fuzzy select tool tends to work better if you just want to remove the background. So it has selected the background. Now I'm going to come over here and make sure that I have an alpha channel so that it will delete to transparency, which it does. So I'm going to click on the background and then click on delete. All right, so that has removed the background. So let me select none. All right, now you might not be able to see it, but I'm going to zoom in very closely here. It also did remove a little bit of this white pom-pom on the end of the hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the brush tool. First, let me swap these colors out to make the white my foreground. Then I'm going to click on the brush tool. Make sure that I have maybe a hardness of about 32. Let's see, I have my brush size is about 33, and that looks like it's going to work here. So what you're going to do is you're just going to fill in the sections that kind of got erased. It's okay that it's slight, that the color is a little bit off, because this is going to be so small in the ad that you're really not going to see that imperfection. And you're going to do the same thing over here on the other Santa hat. I better shrink the brush a little bit. Okay, so that fixed that problem. So now the next thing I need to do is to remove this pillow from around their paws. So I'm going to demonstrate how I use the path tool in order to do that. Now the reason I didn't erase this is because I'm not going to do the whole thing to show you, because once you see the technique, you're just going to do the technique wherever you need to do it. So let me just zoom in here a little bit and make sure I'm at the bottom of the picture. Here we go. And then I'm going to click on the path tool and then start going up around the pillow. Now, because it has the transparent background, I don't have to worry about the edge because it's going to be erasing to transparency. Now, I don't have to worry about the edge until I reach this point here, where I literally have to trace around the exact area of the pug's arm and then also onto his paw. And then once you are ready to complete the area, you're going to click on Control and then click on the first dot. And that will surround the area. Then come up and click on Select from Path, and then you'll see all of the marching ants. That means your area is selected. And then click on Delete, and that will delete the area to a transparency. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole area, but you will go along the bottom and remove any area using the path tool that you want to erase to a transparency. So that's what I did in order to separate the animals from their background. And then using the rectangle select tool, this is how I also separated the animals for two different ads. So let's go back to the ad that we're going to be focused on now. So I'm going to hide all of the layers, and we'll go through them one at a time. So this one I started with a black background, and the reason I chose black is because I was going to use this background that I purchased from Deposit Photos, and I wasn't sure whether I wanted it full color or I wanted to drop the opacity. So anyway, I started with the black background. Now the next layer that I added was the book. Now where's the book? I think this is the book. Yes. Okay, so then I added the book, and then I also added the pug. Then from there, I added also my panel of books for the bottom. And then I added, I think I added the name of the, yes, here's the name of the vampire series. And here is the verbiage for the ad. Now I picked a color from the Santa hat. And as you can see, this doesn't stand out very well. So that is the technique that I'm going to show you how to do right now. Because if I unveil this background that I created, you can see how it makes the text pop right from the background, and that's what I wanted. So I'm going to delete this font background and show you how I did that. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to create a layer for the font background. It's already named here from the last time I used it. Okay, it has a transparency background. Okay, so now I have this. Now I'm going to click on the verbiage layer and click on right click and choose alpha to selection. And as you can see, what it does is it surrounds all of the text. So then I'm going to come over to select and click on grow. And for this ad, I chose 5 pixels. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure that I click on the font background because that's where I want to put the black. Now I have to make sure over here I have black selected as the foreground color because that's where the bucket tool will get the color from. Okay, so I'm going to click over here and then select Edit, Fill with Foreground Color. All right, and there is the black. And I'm going to unselect this. And there you can see that it makes the verbiage pop from the background. Now, occasionally when I was new, I would not know to put the background underneath. And so a few times I wound up with this and then didn't know how to get out of the problem. Okay, so once it's underneath, that's what creates the frame really on each of the letters. So that's the end of this ad. Okay, so now we're moving to the third ad. So in this ad, I'm using the cat that we just went over how we created him. And I also I needed something to fill up this space. So this started its life as a royalty-free image. And so I'm going to show you not only how to erase the background, but I didn't like the shape of this branch, so I reshaped it for the actual ad. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do that. So let's start over here first. Now, because there is no white in the branches or the heart, the Select by Color tool works fantastic. So first of all, let me make a copy of this, and I will hide the bottom one. I want to make sure that this has an alpha channel, which it doesn't, so I'm going to add an alpha channel. And then I'm going to click on Choose Select by Color tool and click on the white. And that has selected all of the white in the picture, and then just click Delete. And that changes, that removes the background. Okay, so as I said earlier, I didn't like this branch sort of going too far off to the side. So what I just did was come in here with my eraser and let's make this a little bit bigger here and just erased. I'm going to make this a harder brush also and just erased some of this here. There you go. And that changed the shape of the branch. So once I have this with a transparent background, what I would do is use this rectangle select tool, come here and surround the area with the transparent background, click inside, edit, copy visible, and that would copy only the area that I wanted to use. Then I would come back to the ad and it's ready to be pasted right into this corner. So let's start at the beginning and we'll just go over how this all came to be. So I started again with the transparent background, but I did use this gold background, very holiday-ish. And then I added the books and the cat leaning on the two books on the right-hand side. And then I put in my verbiage for the ad. And then I dropped in the design here that filled up this space. So this one was pretty easy because we already learned a lot of these techniques. So anyway, that completes the third ad. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.